My name is Rachel. I'm a non-blind History of Art student, and I'm going to describe to you what I see when I look at this stormy abstract painting of the sea from the shore. The title of this painting is Salmon Nets and the Sea, which may help to explain certain elements of the painting. The painting is very large, spanning around 2 arms' widths apart, and is a long horizontal panel. The canvas can be roughly divided into 3 sections horizontally. The top narrow strip of painting depicts the sombre sky, which is a dark greenish blue on the left, fading into grey across the canvas to the right. Spray from the wild sea below appears to have been thrown up, depicted as wispy white lines against the sky. The middle section of the canvas is the busiest. On the left, there appears a vague square-shaped structure, painted in thick black lines with smudgy edges. This illustrates the tall poles anchoring the salmon nets to the ground. Various shades of brown fill in the spaces between the lines. Shades intersperse and overlay each other, at points overlapping the black outline of the structure, reflecting the waves rushing through the translucent fishing nets and over the poles. The artist's irregular and distinct brushstrokes are visible, creating a sense of immediacy and drawing attention to the spontaneous nature in which the work was created. The greyish-brown paint that fills the outline of the structure, reflecting the nets, expands beyond the structure to the right into the sea. Thin brown lines, like tendrils, also curve out from the structure across the grey paint to the sea, reflecting the lines of the nets. The sea takes up most of the middle section of the painting. It appears as a thick mass of different layers of brushstrokes. Beneath the nets it is a dark blue, with grey and white paint covering the blue in thin layers. There's a sense that the blue acts as a base colour. For the sea above the nets, the artist has more thickly applied layers of white and grey paint. The artist uses large, thick, white brushstrokes to emphasise the choppy waves. At some points, the white paint is dribbled down the canvas. There's a sense of an unfinished quality to the painting, especially evident where the thick brushstrokes depicting the sea messily overlap the dark brown shoreline at the far right of the painting. In the third section of the painting, in the foreground, the shoreline is depicted. The wet sand is a dark purpley brown. The smooth, invisible brushstrokes contrast with the rough texture of the sea. There's a small line of stones indicating a barrier from the sea, and darker paint is used to reflect a sloping path that crosses from the right corner of the canvas diagonally to the square structure of the salmon nets on the left. Salmon Nets in the Sea is by Joan Ardley, painted in 1960 when the artist lived in the small fishing village Catterlin on the Aberdeenshire coastline. If you want to hear more about Ardley's painting practice and the influences behind this painting, listen to the additional information recording.